Every night when my son goes to bed, it is a Russian roulette of will he wake up? If he wakes up, how long will he wake up for? And I can't keep doing this. I've had 3 nights of him sleeping through the night, but the night before that he was up from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. So to get to the bottom of this, I'm reading this book in hopes that it will help. I am this much through the book, but here are some of my key takeaways so far. The way that your child goes to sleep at night will be the biggest indicator of how well they sleep throughout the night. And this is because of 2 things, object permanence and sleep associations. Sleep associations are basically the hints that tell your child it's time to go to bed, and object permanence is something that kicks in at around the 6-month mark, which basically means that whereas your newborn could fall asleep in one place and wake up somewhere else and not give a duck, as your kid hits that 6-month mark, they're gonna start to realize that if they wake up in the middle of the night and things aren't as they were when they fell asleep, they freak out. Like if your child's sleep association is you rocking him to sleep, he then gets object permanence, wakes up in the middle of the night, you're not holding him, disaster. So with that in mind, here are the practical things that I'm putting into effect in the hopes that it's going to help. So the first thing we're gonna be looking to do is actually switching up his bedtime routine. Right now, bedtime starts at 6:30, we start with a bath, I then move on to feeding him and we put him down. I think our bedtime routine is too short, and I think that it's a mistake that we do feeding right before bed. This is one of the things that the book touches on. It says that if you're feeding your child right before they go to sleep, you're creating a sleep association with feeding and sleep. So if they wake up in the middle of the night, they're at an increased likelihood of needing to be fed to go back to sleep, which is what we want to avoid. We basically want sleep associations that don't involve us as the parent being in the room. So things like white noise works really nicely, things like having a good sleep schedule works really nicely, but what we don't want to do right before bed is rocking, feeding, things that require us to be there so that when they wake up in the middle of the night and we're not there, they need us to help them go back to sleep. I'm thinking that our routine is going to start to look like we start with the feed, which I'm kind of afraid of, but yeah, we're gonna start with the feed. Then we'll move on to book, then we'll move on to bath, then we'll move on to bed. The next thing is that for this next week, I'm going to put my all into making sure his naps happen on time and that they're of a good length. Right now, my son wakes up at 7, we then have nap time at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., another one at 5 p.m., and then bedtime starts at 6:30 for him to be in bed at 7:30. And the thing is, his naps should be like 1 to 2 hours long is what the book says, but actually his naps are like half an hour, and then if he wakes up, I'm like, all right, you're done. What I'm gonna be looking to do for the sake of this experiment is I'm gonna be making sure that each of his naps are at least an hour long. And what the book says is that you wanna start with bedtime, as in like, you wanna start tackling how he sleeps with bedtime first and then move on to naps. Like don't try and do everything at once. Get bedtimes down and then focus on nap times afterwards. So for the sake of this week, even if it means me rocking him to sleep and holding him for an hour and a half, 2 hours while he sleeps, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure he gets those naps and that they're of a good length. And I think we're gonna do a graduated extinction approach if he wakes up, in the sense that there's like a whole outline of how to do it in the book. It's like you wait 5 minutes and you go in, then you wait 10 minutes and you go in, etc., etc. I know it's going to be so hard, but it's like the book says, you need to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you're actually probably making it worse. And that's what I've been finding. I find that I'm really strict and then I kind of loosen up a little bit, and then 1 wake up at night turns into 2, which turns into 3, and I genuinely feel like the net benefit of me not getting my sleep and helping him is less than the net benefit of me actually getting sleep and being able to wake up and be present with him and do things with him. I feel like that is ultimately better for him and better for me in being able to show up for him as his mom than me going in to comfort him 10 times a night. So anyway, that's where we're at. I will keep you updated with how the rest of the book goes. Curious to see how it will tell us to tackle naps once we get the bedtime down, but yeah, we'll see. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any advice. If you have any tips for like bedtime routines, let me know. Maybe I'll put a massage in there somewhere. I don't know, we'll see. Watch this space.